So behind me back here is the town of Imperial. You can see there's not a whole lot of it left, but we're going to take a look around anyway and see what we can find right after this. That was fat. Hi, this is Brian Northwest Bronco. Welcome back to the channel. Today, my son Andrew and I are going to go out into the Oregon desert for 2 nights, and we're going to go out and see what we can find. I have 1 or 2 things in particular I know are there that we're going to look at, and that's going to be today, and that's going to be a place of an old town that used to exist out there. And then also, I've got a definite structure I found on satellite that I want to go see, or at least something out there that I know is probably going to be interesting. But other than that, we're just going to go see what homesteads we can find and have a nice adventure. All right, so we just turned off Highway 20 onto Frederick Butte Road. I'm going to air down the tires really quick, and then we're going to start heading out into the desert. Okay, we're all aired down. Now somewhere right out there was a town out there, and we're gonna go out and see if we can find where that town was. But it's somewhere over there. Okay, I think while we poke down the road here, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we're going to see first here. This is supposedly the town of Imperial, and this town had a couple hundred people that lived out here, and I guess it has kind of an interesting history to it, but I'll tell you more when we get there. All right, so the area that we're standing in now, I believe, is where the town of Imperial was, and I'm going to put a map up on the screen really quick to show kind of the layout of the town, what it looked like back then. So here's that map. And you can see that behind me, there's really nothing left at all. But you can see some metal and some cans and things left over from when the town was here. But there was about a couple hundred people that lived here. And according to Coyote Works in his storytelling, what happened was a guy came out here and bought some land, and he divided up into lots and sold the lots to people during a wet season. All these people came here expecting there to be water and ability to farm and things like that. So they bought up the lots. He made a lot of money, but then everything went back to its normal climate around here, and it became dry, and everybody had to move elsewhere to find places to farm. So supposedly that's the story of what was here, but we're going to keep looking around a little bit, see what we can find, and if not, we're just going to keep on moseying down the road. You know, I'm pretty surprised for how much that was there, how little there is left over on the ground. I really thought we would find a lot more stuff, but I didn't find anything but a couple of cans. So we're going to keep going down the road. I have about 5 or 6 more markers on the map here of things that are out here. So we're gonna keep on going down the road here and see what we can find. All right, we were just driving along to another site I wanted to see, and we came across this by accident. And I think this was a homestead because we have chicken wire, boards, cans, and this is a looks like a watering trough back here. And there's cows kind of everywhere around here. But you know what I think this might be is I remember watching a video from Coyote Works on Bill Brown, and I think this might be one of his properties. So I think what this is actually one of Bill Brown's watering stops, because back in the day, Bill Brown was a really wealthy horse rancher out here, and he owned all the properties that had water. He was known to walk between his properties, so he'd walk for days and miles between his properties. But I think this is one of his stops for water. But eventually the horse market did dry up, and Bill Brown actually ended up dying penniless.
So I was walking around, and I ended up seeing this can dump here. I saw this thing, and I don't know if you guys can tell, but this thing actually has never been opened. It's just, there's no opening to it. It's never been opened.
I don't know if it's an actual can dump, but it is a spot where there's a lot of cans. There we have some barbed wire and a whole bunch of Depression era glass kind of right over here. All right, so there was definitely a building here because there's a nice debris field here of wood. And the reason why I think it's a homestead, not just a barn next to a watering stop, is because there's a whole bunch of chicken wire right here. All right, well, I think I had proof that this was a homestead because here is a stove jack. So sure enough, this is in the more posts with barbed wire through here, cans everywhere, lots and lots of debris. So yeah, this was definitely a homestead right here. So we were just standing here looking at it. I don't know how I didn't see this before, but I think I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say that this was a windmill because there's the tower right here. And I'm assuming the tower would be somewhere here next to the water trough and then, you know, they'd pump water, but I'm assuming. But that's going to be my best guess. All right, so we're definitely right about this being a well and this being a windmill up here because I found the hole that goes down. This is where the pump would go down in the ground. And it's just and there's a lot of nice, cool air coming out here, and it's 95 degrees out. So look at this. See how it's blowing up? That's how much air is coming out of that hole. Pretty cool, huh? Man, that does feel good though. It's like air conditioning. All right, so I think we've seen everything we were gonna see. It's kind of cool because you can see the axe cuts on all the trees. That shows where they probably got some of the wood to build some of this stuff. But to give you a layout from back here, the homestead was right here, and then back there was the windmill, and that was the water tank back there. So it's hard to believe that somebody actually lived out here. So we're gonna move on down the road, see what else we can find. Why's the window down over there?
That's a great question.
The bag must have hit it. The door's open, close the door. All right, hop in.
I just saw my shorts.
You just soiled your shorts?
So saw. Girl, messing with
All right, so we were just cruising down the road here and I saw a can here and here. So I got out to take a look and see what else was here. More cans back there, under here. But check this out. Right, where is it? There it is. I found an old clock. Look at that. There's the crank right there.
Oh, that's
the gearing.
Cool. Oh, yeah.
Old clock right here. All right, so there's the Bronco. Saw those cans from the road right there. We have some pieces of a stove jack right here and that piece of a clock. So I'm thinking we have stumbled across possibly a homestead site here. All right, so I think what we have here is, I think I was wrong, it's not a homestead because there's no boards anywhere, there's no chicken wire or anything like that. It's just, you do have a stove jack right here, you know, and a clock, but I think it was just somewhere where somebody dumped their shit. All right, well that was pretty cool to find. It's funny how, if you see the smallest little thing on the side of the road that doesn't look natural, you gotta get out of the car and look at it because I never would have seen half those things we found today so far if it wasn't for just some kind of clue. Just 1 or 2 cans is all it took, and then we found all that other stuff. So we're gonna keep on moseying down the trail. It's about 6 o'clock, so we have a couple hours left to explore, and then we're gonna probably find a place to camp. Okay, so I don't know what's at the end of this road, but I've been looking at it for about 2 years on the map, and it's this little blip. But this is the road that cuts off the road where we were driving, that cuts over to this area where this thing is. Now, I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm kind of excited to finally see it.
Is that natural?
Yeah. All right, so we came around the bend here, and this is exactly the spot that I marked. And some kind of a really bizarre fort. You got a fire pit. I don't even think that's a fort. I think someone tried to live out here in the last 50 years, and they built this thing right here. But they put a lot of work into it. So I'm going to look around this area and see what we can find and show you everything there is here. Yeah, this is just the weirdest thing. It's almost creepy.
Yeah.
Got some metal right there, barrel band. Some barbed wire rolled up right there. All right, so we're gonna go inside this fort here. Looks like not only did they have a fire pit there, but it looks like they had one inside also right there. Probably some stumps to sit on, barrel band. There's the construction of this whole thing.
there's a lizard right here.
A what?
He's crawling away. He's actually pretty big.
Can you catch him?
You can't catch him. It's behind these sticks.
Oh.
No, you can't.
All right, so here's something interesting. I'm wondering if this is a... Now, I'm going out on a limb on this one and call me crazy, but there is a piece of toilet paper there. There's poop inside that rock. And if you look on top of the rock here, I don't know if you can see that, you would sit there, right there. So I'm wondering if someone sat up there and used this as a bathroom, because it looks... All right, here's the final conclusion on what I think happened here. I think someone tried to live here for a little while. That was the structure they built right there, and that was their fire pit. Another fire pit in the structure, that toilet looking thing was over there. But there's no cans or bottles except for very small pieces of cans and glass. So I'm thinking what happened here is someone came through here and cleaned all this up. Because if someone lived here that long and I can't even find a can dump, that tells me that somebody came through and cleaned it up real nice but left some of the more interesting things. So we got to move on down the road here because it's 6 o'clock and we need to kind of keep moving. God, that is just the weirdest thing back there to find. It's, it could be something as simple as just kids building a fort, but it looks like something that an adult would have done. But I mean, there's no carvings on the... You'd think there'd be carvings inside that structure on the rock saying like Fred lived here with some dates, but there's nothing. There was literally no signs of anything except for the skeleton of that structure. So what do you think, Andrew? What do you think it was?
I think it was just a guy living there, just kind of camping out. That's what I think.
Just a guy living there.
Yeah,
and the road, the funny thing is the road that comes in here is actually a pretty good road, and it ends right at where that guy lived. So this was like his driveway or something. All right, so it's getting kind of late. It's about 7:15 and we got a little bit lost back there, but we're back on the right track, and hopefully this little road will take us out to Highway 20. And I think I was talking to Andrew if we wanted to either camp out here in the desert or if we wanted to go to Napper Camp where we usually camp. And I think we decided we're gonna go to Napper Camp. So we're gonna kind of make our way out of here, hit Highway 20, go to Napper, and then we're gonna start setting up our camp because it's gonna be dark here shortly. So we'll catch up with you a little bit later. So that in front of us and off to the right is a glass butte. So if you kind of go past the butte a little bit, and then just on the other side of that is where the camp is, where we're going to stay at. All right, so here's the turn to get into Napper Camp. Then you just go about a mile down this road. And so you can kind of see along here that you'll have people camping a little bit off to the right and the left, and all these spots are really, really spread out. But
yeah.
And typically when you first roll in and you're down here at kind of in the bottom of this draw, this is where most people camp. If you keep driving through it and then go to the left, I'll show you where we like to go. So at this intersection here, when you drive through the camp, this road will go to the right or left. Just keep going up this road here, and then you'll find the best spots. It's our usual spot, but there's somebody a little higher on the hill doing something. All right, so we've arrived in our usual spot. So no one's here. There's some people up there digging for obsidian, but they're going to be gone soon because it's getting dark. So, but anyway, we're going to go ahead and get the tent all set up with our cots and sleeping pads. And then we're both, I think we're both going to have some mountain house tonight. So I'm not even sure if we're going to do a fire. We'll see how much time we have, but we're going to get our camp set up and go from there. All right, so Andrew and I for dinner, we're just going to do some mountain house meals. And what we're going to do is we're going to do these three. And then we're all gonna, well, him and I are gonna have each one on our plate so we can do kind of a taste test to see which ones we like and don't. I already know most of these, but I've never had the chicken and mashed potato dinner. That's a new one. So we're gonna do, let's see, we're gonna do mac and cheese, buffalo style mac and cheese, and then chicken and mashed potato dinner. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these prepared, and I'll see you guys again when we sit down to eat. All right, so Andrew wants to try something a little different here. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna cook a hot dog over the jet boil flame just to warm it up. I'm gonna make him a hot dog, and he wants to put the macaroni and cheese on top of the hot dog from the Mountain House macaroni and cheese. And we're gonna try that and see what happens as an experiment. We've got the Mountain House chicken and mashed potato dinner, bless you, and the mac and cheese buffalo style, and then we've got regular mac and cheese on top of a hot dog. So what do you want to try first? I'm gonna do the hot dog first. Buffalo? All right, let's do buffalo. That's a good one.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
I like that and the regular mac and cheese.
Spicy.
All right, you ready for the chicken? All this is chicken and mashed potatoes. I think it's gonna be pretty plain. Yeah, I like the mac and cheese more. This is,
It's still good though. I still like
yeah,
it.
it's just kind of blah.
Yeah.
It needs
Main dish.
big enchilada,
Alright. 3.
hot dog with Mountain House mac and cheese. That was a dumb idea.
Yeah. Not bad.
Yeah, well, the macaroni and cheese from Mountain House is good. Just don't put it on a hot dog. So
Like,
anyway,
you can still eat the macaroni.
yeah. Anyways, we're gonna sit here and enjoy our dinner and then clean up, and we'll probably end up seeing you guys again unless we do something here for bedtime. All right, so here we are in our cots and in our sleeping bags, getting ready to go to bed, and there's cows literally all around this area
So loud.
that are just mooing and mooing and mooing. So hopefully we can get through the mooing tonight and see what happens. But we sat outside, looked at the stars for a while, and saw some satellites and things. But I'm going to go ahead and hit the hay, and we'll see you guys in the morning. All right, well, good morning, everybody. We both slept really, really good last night. The cows stopped mooing, so that was good. But we're going to get out and have some coffee and breakfast and discuss what's going on today. So this is the Southwest. This is the Southwest skillet. So this is the one that's kind of like the breakfast skillet, but it's like a Southwest spin on it. So it's got black beans, corn, hash browns. You know, it's got some shredded chicken or pork in there. It actually looks really good. So we're gonna give this one a try. Yeah, this is really good. So if you want an alternative to biscuits and gravy, I like biscuits and gravy a lot. This is actually really good too. This is kind of a good one to throw in now and then just to kind of break up the flavors. But this is a winner. So Andrew and I made an executive decision. I think what we're gonna do is we're just gonna head home because it's gonna be in the 90s again today, and he's not really digging that kind of heat. So so I think what we'll do is we're just gonna pack up the tent, finish our breakfast here, and hit the road and head 4 hours back to the Portland area. Hopefully you enjoyed our trip with us. We packed a lot of stuff in yesterday and got to see, you know, what, 5 or 6 cool things out there in the desert. So if you liked it, this video, just be sure to give it a like, subscribe for more Bronco content, and we will see you next time. Say goodbye. Bye.